Hello, scrappy friends. How are we this afternoon? All right, today we are going to build this cute mini album from Simple Stories featuring the Open Road collection. This is going to be another print, shop, and create project for you. This is going to be the camera album class. And for your convenience, I have done all of the shopping for you, okay? And packaged these all together in a kit so that all you have to do is order the kit and then you can follow along and do the project. If you do not want to follow along on the video, when you get around to it, you can scan the QR code. This cover sheet comes in your kit. You can scan this code and it will take you to the Simple Stories website where you can download these instructions and print them for free. Okay, I printed a copy for me so that I could teach the class for you. So I know some of you like to follow along in video form, so that's what we're gonna do. Let me show you what comes in your kit. Again, it's all the items found on the shopping list, all right? And I, again, have just packaged it together for you as a convenience. So you're gonna get the chipboard mini album. I just wanna make sure I'm still in the, yep, okay. You're gonna get the chipboard mini album. You're gonna get the Open Road journal bits, the decorative brads, the 6x8 Open Road paper pack, the puffy or foam stickers, the cardstock icon stickers, and then you're going to get the 12x12 cardstock pieces that we need to complete this project. All right. So the way I'm going to do it, I'm going to see how long it takes to do the cutting guide and all of that. We're going to do the cutting. We'll do all of the things together. And I'm going to try and follow along step by step according to the printed directions. You guys know that sometimes I tend to go rogue, and I know it confuses people. But I want you to know that just because it was designed in this manner does not mean that you have to build it in this manner, okay? So a few other things you're gonna need. You're gonna need your paper trimmer. You're gonna need a border punch or decorative scissors. We may or may not use that. I mean, I'll see as I go along. I will explain to you in the directions where they use it, and you can choose to follow my way or do your own thing. You need scissors, you need a scoring tool, a hole punch or crocodile, your basic adhesives, foam tape or dimensionals, some coordinating lace ribbon baker's twine, and some baby powder, or I've got some baking soda here to remove some sticker adhesives, okay? Now, I didn't pull any ribbon yet because I'm going at this blind also, okay? So, anyways, let's see what we can come up with. Let's see what kind of a cute little mini we can put together here, okay? All right, so we are going to begin, and again, we're going to do the cutting. We're going to go step by step according to the directions because I don't want to confuse you. I want it to be simple for you to follow along. What I might do if the video is getting to be too long, I may stop the video and we'll do a part 1 and a part 2. Fair enough? All right, let's just see what happens. All right. So grab your paper trimmer and we're going to go right along in the cutting guide, okay? So first up, we're going to grab this Color Vibe cardstock right here. All right, this is our robin's egg cardstock. I'm gonna turn my trimmer around here. And the first thing I'm gonna do is cut off this zip strip. Okay. I would save all my scraps. I do not know what we're gonna have left over. I like to try and come up with some bonus projects for you if we have stuff that is left over. So we're gonna see what happens, all right? So we need a piece that is 5 by 6.5, and then we need a piece that's 5 by 9, okay? Let's see. 5 by 6.5, 4 by 6.5. So we want it to be 6.5 by 9, and then we're gonna score it, okay? So let's do that first. Let's cut a piece that is 6.5. 6 1/4. Where's my 6.5 on this cutter? I think it's right here at the edge. This cutter, that's 6 1/4. It's hard to tell on this one. All right, so I'm gonna cut it at 5.5 because 5.5 and 6.5 makes 12. Okay, 5.5 plus 6.5 makes 12 because it's hard to find my 6.5, so I'm subtracting that. So I'm gonna cut this at 5.5 and I'm gonna set this piece aside. And then this piece here will be 6.5. What, Cooper? What? Already the dog is like wanting to distract me. By 9, so we want to cut this. So we've got the piece that's 6.5. We're cutting it at 9. Put this in our scrap and hang on to it. And grab your scoring tool. I like to use this little rounded stylus. And we're going to score this at 5 inches. So there's a score line right here. All right, so we're gonna score this at 5. Koopy, what's your deal? Dude. Okay, so now we have a score line right here. And I'm not sure if it's gonna be dotted side up or the solid, but we just have that general score line. So we have that piece. Then we're gonna cut our next piece at 5 inches. So we're gonna take this and cut it down to 5. Boys, enough. 5 by 6.5. I'm gonna cut it at 5.5 again because again, my measurements. So this piece will be 6.5. I don't mean to confuse you guys, but if you have a hard time with your paper trimmer, if you can do some simple math, it makes it a little bit easier, okay? All right, so we've cut the robin's egg, all right? I am going to save this one for last. We're gonna go to the pumpkin. So find the piece that is pumpkin. And again, I'm going to cut off the zip strip. Okay. And I save these because sometimes I use these little strips. So I'm saving them for right now. So now we need another page that is very similar. Okay. This piece is going to be 6.5 by 10 this time, okay? 6.5 by 10. All right, so now, again, my first cut's gonna be at 5.5, and that's simply because you'll see that I don't have an easy to read 6.5 inch line here. All right, so I'm gonna cut it at 5.5 because I know that 5.5 and 6.5 makes 12. All right, so this piece is now 6.5 by 10. I want this piece to be 10 inches. All right, now on this one, we're going to score it at 5, and then we're gonna score it again at 8.5. All right, so I'm gonna score it at 5. And when you're scoring, you wanna do it very gently. You're just trying to get a fold line. You don't wanna press too hard because it will tear your paper, okay? And then I'm gonna go to 8.5, and I'm gonna score again. Okay. All right. So now I have a fold here, and I have a fold here. And I don't know what we're gonna do with it yet, but we have our score lines and we have our piece of paper. Okay, now we need a 5 by 6.5. So I'm going to put this back in. I'm going to cut this at 5. So now I have a piece 5 by 12. And then I'm going to come over here and cut this at 6.5, which again, I don't have that. So I'm going to go to 5.5. I'm going to set that piece aside. Now I have a piece that is 5 by 6.5. That goes in my use pile. All right. Cooper. Oh my gosh, these dogs, they exhaust me sometimes, friends. Where is he? Who, where are you? I gotta let him out. Hold on, friends. What? Are you leaving? See ya. Go on. Go on. Come on, Shelly. You come lay in your bed. You're a good boy. That's a good boy. Thank you. Okay. I'm back. Make sure my video's still recording. I think we're good. Yes. Okay. Cut off our zip strip. We're cutting the piece of blush cardstock now. All right. Save that zip strip. We're doing pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to cut this. My first cut's going to be 5.5. All right. And I'm going to set that aside. I now have a piece that's 6.5 because I want a piece that's 6.5 by 9 again. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it and I'm going to cut it here at 9 inches. Set this in my scrap pile. We're going to score at 5 inches. So we're going to score this at 5 inches. Okay. And again, you're just making a score line. You do not want to press too hard because you don't want to pierce your paper. All right. Now we're going to bring this piece back in. It's 5.5 by 12. We need a piece that's 5 by 6.5. Okay. So 5 by 6.5. Again, I'm going to go to 5.5. I do like this trimmer, but that is a problem for me when you can't do those measurements with ease. All right, so now I have a piece that's 6.5 by 5. All right, so we've done our blush, we've done our pumpkin, and we've done our robin's egg. Now we're gonna trace these with mustard, but I would like to finish cutting our pieces, and then all the pieces that we need to trace, we will do that after, okay? So let's finish cutting all of our paper. So now grab your paper pack, okay? And these should go right in order, all right? So here we have our paper pack. We're gonna take this travel magazine, and we see this right here, this travel magazine. We're gonna take this piece right out of our book, and we need a piece that is 2.5 high by 4.5 wide. And they want us to cut it from the bottom. They want us to cut it right here, okay? Not sure why, but we're just gonna follow the directions. So I want you to first cut a piece that is 2.5 inches from the bottom, okay? 2.5 inches from the bottom. We're gonna set this in our scrap pile. Then we're gonna turn this and we're gonna cut it at 4.5. All right, this little piece is a scrap. This goes into the piece that we need. So it's going in our pile of pieces we need. Then we need 2 pieces of this butterfly rust pattern. So this is this one. All right, so we need this one. And then these papers duplicate. So we're gonna go back here and we're gonna grab the second one because we need to trace these. So we're gonna set this right here with our mustard cardstock because we have to trace these. All right, next in our stack, we have the sun. All right, and this piece, we need a piece that's 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. All right, so we're gonna put this in here like so, and our first cut's gonna be 3 3/4. This is going in our scrap pile. And now we're gonna turn this, and we want this to be 5 3/4. All right, this piece can go in our scrap. This goes in our use pile. All right, we'll just set those directions aside because we're gonna need to come back to that. Now we have a grid with flowers and blue plaid. So we're skipping this, follow the road. We're skipping that page. We're going to this grid paper right here. All right, we're gonna go here. And we need 2 pieces that are 4 by 6. Our paper is 6 by 8. So we're just gonna put it in here and we're gonna cut 2 pieces that are now 4 by 6. All right. Then we're gonna grab the other piece that is the grid with blue plaid. All right, see the blue plaid's on the back. So go find your second sheet of that paper. Here we go. And this time we're gonna cut it 4 by 6 again, but we only want the top half. This goes in our use pile. This goes in our scrap pile. All right. Next, we're skipping this. We want our tags. All right, we want our tags. So we want to use, and use. All right. So we're going to cut these apart. We want this one. Sometimes it's easier to use your smaller trimmer. So we want this one, keep rolling. And then we want these two on the end. So we're gonna cut away this one. We're gonna put these two in our pile. This one I'm gonna put with my scraps. Now we're gonna cut this one. All right, for this one, we want the suitcases here on the end. Now remember, you have creative, you can do whatever you want. I'm trying to think of the word I'm looking for. Creative freedom. Okay, you can do whatever you want. Just because, again, they're doing it this way, doesn't mean you have to do it this way. We're gonna put these with our scraps. You can already see we're gonna have quite a bit of stuff left over. So we'll see what we have and what I can come up with. So these we're not gonna use right now. We just want this one. All right, next we want the flowers and the yellow pattern paper. All right, so now we want this. And we need a piece that's 2.5 by 7 and 3.5 by 7. So I'm gonna turn this first and I'm gonna cut this at 7 inches. Or you can cut 1 inch off the bottom, whichever makes it easier. We'll put this in our scrap pile. Then we're gonna turn this and we're gonna cut this at 2.5. And then this piece will be 3.5. 2.5, 3.5 makes 6. All right, so now we've done this one. Now we're gonna find that other flower and yellow pattern paper that's in your pad, because we get 2 of each design in these 6 by 8 pads. Okay, so now this one we want 2 pieces that are 3.25 by 4.25. All right, so we're gonna cut this at 4.25. 4.25. This will go in our scrap. Turn, and we want 3.25 and 3.25. This goes to your scrap. This goes in your use pile. All right, next up, journal blocks and yellow floral. So here's our journal blocks with our yellow floral. We want to use this journal block right here, and we want to use this journal block right here. So we're going to cut this lengthwise here. And we'll come right over here and we'll cut this lengthwise here. All right, this middle piece we're not using at all. Put that in your scrap. We're gonna cut off this arrow. I can hear Cooper up on the deck barking. Ay, ay, ay. Put the arrow in your scrap. Then come down here and cut this right here. We want this journaling block. All right, so this is going in our use pile. This you can put with your scraps for now. And now we want this journaling block here that says travel bucket list. This goes in our use, This goes in our scraps for now. Okay. Now we need the journal block yellow floral again. So grab that second one. This time we're going to cut 2 pieces that are 4 by 6. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be using this flower side. If I was a betting person. All right. Now we need the arrows and the orange map. And Cooper is now barking to come back inside. This is how I get my steps in, friends. Are you going to come in and lay down now? You good to come lay down now? Let's go. Over here in your bed. Come on. You're going to make me cray. Come lay down. All right, so here we have the arrows and the map, okay? And we need 1 piece that's 4 by 6. This piece goes in our scrap. This piece goes in our pile to use. Then we're going to go to the 3 by 4 cards and the brown newsprint. So we're skipping that next page. We're going to go here. Nope, we're skipping this one. We're going to this one right here. There's 2 3 by 4s in there, friends. So we're going to this one right here that has the brown newsprint on the back. And we want this 3 by 4 card down here in the bottom corner. So we'll cut this at 4. Put these with our scraps. Come in here, we'll cut this at 3. Because these are 3 by 4. This is the one we want. This can go in our scrap pile. Okay? That is it for the cutting with our cutter. All right? This is all extra. So we're going to have to come up with some fun pages with what we have left. So that is why I said save all your scraps. All right? Because you know I'm going to create something, a bonus project for you. All right? So now we're going to go back. Let's take our trimmer and put that out of the way for now, because we don't need that anymore right at the moment. And let's grab our mustard cardstock, and we have these 2 pieces here. I just want to look quick because I want to make sure that we cut it in the right direction. Let's see. I don't think it matters. I don't think it's going to matter. All right. Grab your camera piece. You can leave the rings right inside for now. You need the chipboard covers. All right. You need the chipboard covers. And it looks to me like the solid side is up. So have your solid side up, and then we're going to cut, oh, actually 2 of the same. We don't need this one right now. We don't need the solid. So we're going to cut one of these over here like this, and we're going to then flip it, and we're going to cut another one over here like this. All right, so grab a pencil. cardstock. So your edges are even on two sides. It just makes it easier, less cutting. And we're just going to trace this lightly. All right. All right, so we're going to trace that. And then we are going to, it's funny because it doesn't show the difference in height here. So I'm going to turn it over here. I just want to make sure we're doing it the right way, guys. I don't think it's going to matter. So here's this one, and it's flipped. That's that way. I don't want to give you the wrong info here, guys. I think this is going to be the back cover. Let me see. Yep. All right, flip it so that the little piece is up top and the bigger piece is here at the bottom. Okay. And then we're going to trace this. I didn't trace these holes. Okay. All right. And then I didn't do a very good job right there. All right, and then these pieces here, again, this is going on our cover. We want the rust side. So we want this like this. So you want that small piece, the smaller piece going up the top. All right, for this one. And then we want the solid, we want the back. Just want to see the back of the book, that cover. We did this one like this, so we're going to do it the same. Okay, take the sweatshirt off here. Hopefully you didn't see my big old belly. All right, sweating bullets in here this afternoon. Okay. sometimes you have to take a peek looking forward at your directions, because when your paper, when your paper is directional, right? Or when you have pieces like this is smaller, this is bigger, you want to make sure that they're in the right place, in the right orientation. So now you're going to use your scissors and we're just going to cut those out. Little bit of fussy cutting. I know it's your fave. I know. Try and cut as close to your line as you can. We certainly can ink the edges of our book. Oh my gosh, this dog, I swear to you, friends, he's gonna put me over the edge, this little dog. My husband is not home right now. I'm gonna throw this in my scrap, even though, who knows? All right, and then I'm gonna wait on the circle till we get, I'm gonna do it. Coop. Make it so that you can easily cut around. Around your circle. Again, we can sand some edges. So if it's not perfect, you guys, we can use some ink. We can sand. It's all gonna be just fine. Just take your time. You're not in a rush. Okay, so there's one. Look how cute. Very cute. And this one. Hold on before we cut that second one. Let me see if this is going on the front and the back side of this book, because I'm not sure where it's going. Let's not cut this one yet. Leave this one whole for right now. I want to see what's happening. I want to see where it's going to go. We're going to keep it like this for right now. All right. It would be helpful if in the directions we could see the different sizes of the little pieces of the camera. Does that make sense? Because then we would know we were laying it out exactly right. This piece is going in my scraps. Because now I'm not sure. Cut it in the right. So before I cut that second one, I want to make sure we're doing it the right way. Same with this one. Same with this. We're gonna wait because I have a feeling one is supposed to be the cover and then this is supposed to be the back side. But as you can see, that doesn't work, does it? It does not. However, and this one would not either. So we're gonna wait a second. Do not cut any more paper because I wanna see what's gonna happen here. Do not cut these yet. Stand by. We're gonna see where they go and we're gonna make sure that we've done it the correct way before we go any further. Because this, I can already tell, is supposed to be like this is the cover and this is the back side. So I know that that is correct. However, this is not. This is not. So we're just gonna hang on to that for un momento. We're gonna bring this one back in. And we are going to, because we want this like this. So I want you to put this on your butterfly paper like this. Because we did not do that the last time. We did it like this. All right. So I want it to be on the butterfly paper like this. And then I want you to grab a different cutting or a different tracing. Is this right? Yes. Is it? Okay, now I'm questioning myself. All right, this piece is going here. This piece goes here. This piece goes here. So yes, I want it like this. Okay? Got that? Want this bigger piece up and down. All right? On that one that we have not cut yet. What, Cooper? What? If you go back out again, dude, you're not coming back in. Got it? Because you're making me crazy. I want you to come over here and lay in your bed. Come lay in your bed like Sheldon. Shelly's being such a good boy. Do you guys have pets at home that drive you cray-cray when you're trying to do something? I may have to email the girls at Simple Stories and just say, FYI, on your cutting diagram, it would have been helpful so hopefully that other red piece is going to work okay. And again, I have no idea where it's going yet, so I'm not sure. And that's the truth. Oh, I didn't cut the circle. Hold on. I didn't trace the circle. Sometimes I think it's little details like that that we just don't even think about. I will tell you, I've made many a cutting guide in my time. It is not easy. It takes a tremendous amount of time. It is very labor intensive. And you don't always get it right. However, when people are buying product, they don't want to cut the wrong paper or cut it the wrong way. So I try really, really hard to make sure that you guys get it right. Because it would be mighty frustrating if you didn't. And then I'd have to figure out how to fix it for you. I'm sure we could just change the paper on the cover if we had to, right? Could be far greater problems. All right. Whew, that was stressful. All right. So now we have this piece and we have this piece that's going to be for our cover, right? Right. Okay. Whew. We'll start by adding your pre-cut traced pieces to cover the front and back of your camera. All right. And again, this may be a situation because here's my camera. Nope, actually this is going to work because that's going to work on the back. However, they had us cut a hole, or actually maybe they didn't and I did. Hold on. Yep, that was supposed to be solid. Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So I'm going to have to fix that. So one is going to be solid and one is going to be with the hole cut out. Grr. All right, so mine is going to be wrong for now because I cut this wrong. Actually, you may have cut it wrong. So we may have to do something different. Now I am furious. Okay. All right. So when we cut this one, I just want to mark this on this direction. This is the large tab, and this is the small. Okay, and then do not cut the circle. And then this will be, hold on, because we want these to be mirror images. So this is going to be the large tab and the small tab. Don't you love it? Don't you just love it? I love it. All right. Yep. Yep. All right. Large tab, small tab. Then this is the reverse. This is the large tab. And this is the small tab. All right, I'm going to try and put a note in the video. I want to make sure that you guys don't cut it the way we cut it, okay? All right. I'll fix mine. I'm not worried, okay? I will fix it. So this piece is like this. All right. This one I need to cut the circle out of. When I do this, you guys, I'm not creating a fold in my paper. I'm just kind of bending it to get a slit in that circle. And let me correct this also. So this is solid up. And then this is going to be small tab, large tab. I'm not sure why we have two, but we'll find out. Before we cut it, we didn't cut that other one yet. There's a reason for that. We're not going to cut the other one until I know where it goes in our book. And if it's on the back cover, we don't want a circle. Okay, so here's our front cover. Let's see. All right, here, let me move this out of the way now. I'm going to continue to fix these directions for you so it's a little bit more clear. All right. So here we have our front cover, and we want it like this. All right. Looking for my other dog. I'm gonna go let him back out. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Cooper, you're not coming back in. Go inside. Go in the house and lay down. He's waiting for my husband to come home. All right, friends. So we have the piece that goes on our front cover, okay? This was not supposed to have the circle cut out. Then we have the piece with the circle cut out that's gonna go back here. So this says, we'll start by adding your pre-cut traced pieces to cover the front and back of your camera covers. Add the rust pattern design to the outsides of the covers and the mustard cardstock dot side up to the inside of each cover as shown. So again, this is showing the circle cut out. I don't think, we don't want the circle cut out on the back, all right? So we're not cutting that circle, all right? And we wanna make sure hold on. So this goes like this. So this is the back cover. So the back cover goes like this. And we want the dot side up. So when we cut this, this will be correct. All right, so hold on. I'm fixing the directions before we move on. All right, so just give me 1 second. Small tab at the top. And small tab at the top. Okay. All right. Whew. That was stressful. Not gonna lie. All right. Do not cut this circle. Do not. Crazy. Yep, pouring out again. Raining hard here in Binghamton. All right, friends. So this is going on our back cover like this. This is our back cover with the circle intact. I'm gonna fix mine, all right? And this is our front, all right? So I'm not gonna ink it just yet. I'm gonna glue it on. So it tells us to go ahead and add this to the front of our book. I'm going to use some liquid glue. You can use score tape if you want. All right, that cover was stressful. I need to email the girls at Simple Stories and have them fix those directions, because sadly that is going to mess up a lot of people. And it's going to be frustrating. I'm going to try not to put glue where I'm going to cut out where I'm going to punch my tabs. Hopefully the dog got inside. Little stinker that he is. Okay. Gonna make sure I rub that so it's nice and smooth and even. Okay. Now I'm gonna grab my hole punch, my Crop-A-Dile. I'm gonna come over here on this side and I'm gonna punch out these holes before I cover them up. It is raining hard. Okay. Now I'm gonna take my mustard cardstock and I'm gonna put it on the inside. I'm gonna do the same thing. Actually, I can put it right along the edge. If you put it right along the edge, you'll be okay. This is such a cute little album. I love it. I think it's adorable. Make sure your edges are on there good. Very cute. And now I can see my holes on this side. I'm gonna punch my holes. All right. All right. So there's my front cover. All right, there's my front cover. Now I'll do my back cover with the exception of this piece. I'm gonna have to recut this. Gonna have to recut it. Okay. Very frustrating, very. But it's only paper. Could be far worse. Far worse things could happen to us today, friends. But we do need to straighten that out. And if our butterflies weren't kind of on a directional pattern, it wouldn't matter. But because they are, it kind of matters. All right. I'm going to punch these holes. And then I'm going to cut another piece of this paper. I'm going to grab a piece from my stash and I'm going to cut this over again. Not going to do it right now, but then this piece will go on your back cover. You're not going to cut the hole out. I might actually use this and just put something on the back to cover it up. All right. I'm just going to tack it here for right now because I'm a little sad and frustrated, right? But again, it's only paper. It could be a lot worse. And I could put something on the back. We have extra cards, we have extra paper. I could put something on the back and just use that piece, okay? All right, so now we've done this. Now I'm gonna show you a little trick. If you want to smooth these edges, okay, you can sand them and give them a rough finish around the edge, or you can leave it just like this, all right? If you want this to be smooth or you want to even that paper out, you can sand your project. You can use a nail file, or I actually, let's see if I can find my little piece of sandpaper. I have a piece of sandpaper that I just put on my little dauber thing, and you can come in here and go around your paper and really round that out. My dog is outside barking again. I'm gonna lose my mind here, friends. Bed. Your mother is now getting angry. In your bed, right here. In your bed with Sheldon, lay down. Poopy, in your bed, right now, in your bed. You guys, you're never gonna get more real videos than when you watch anything that I do, because this is my life, seriously. So I'm just going with a nail file, or again, you could use a tool like this. Come in here and sand these edges down of your paper. Like maybe it's not cut perfectly. It's gonna give it a distressed look. It looks kind of cool, if you ask me. Not that you did, but I'm going to share this with you anyways. You know why? Because I want to and I can. All right. This is a step that you can totally omit. You do not have to do this step at all. All right. And I'm going to do both sides. And it kind of just reveals a little bit of the white core in there as it takes away the edge that might be even, might not be even. This is going to work a lot easier because my finger can really get in there and get at that paper. So all I'm doing is smoothing out the edges from a non-perfect scissor cut. Right? I'm just going to go back here and just finish this off. I think it looks kind of cool myself. But again, it's a step that you can omit. It's not one you have to do, but I like the look of it. And I'm probably going to ink the edges. Okay. Now I have, let's look at our paper here real quick. And it depends on if you want just a soft, subtle look on your edges. I have this cappuccino from 49 and Market. It's a light tan. I think that would work really nice. You could use some vintage photo. You could use any ink that matches the paper collection. Okay, any ink that matches the paper collection. And then I'm just going to come in and I'm just going to go around the edge of my papers. And again, this is not a step that you have to do. You can totally skip this. You do not have to ink your paper. Maybe you don't even own ink. It's okay. You do not have to do this step. It's going to look adorable. They didn't ink the edges. All right. This is just something that I'm going to do because, again, I'm just going to show you something a little different. It's a step that you can add or not. Okay. Then I'm going to come in here and just go around where I did that sanding. Okay, like that. Then I'll quick flip it over. It's very subtle. This color, cappuccino, is very light. It is not a dark color. So it literally is just adding a very faint distressed edge. All right. If you want something a little bolder, then you could grab like a pumpkin ink or a terracotta ink. You could do a dark green, like an olive color. Any of the colors that are in the collection. I'm not going to do the back cover yet. I'm going to do it as I build the pages. All right. All right. So now we have that is done. All right. So we're going to move on to the next step. It says on the front cover, add the floral strip across the center of the camera. Make sure the lens area is cut out so you can add a photo to show through. Okay, so we need our floral strip and it does not say what size. So I'm going to guess that it's this one right here. So this is going to be the piece that is 7 by 2.5. I'm going to write this down. The floral strip that is 2.5 by 7. I can foresee there's going to be some people that are going to have a hard time with this. Okay. We're going to cut some of this off and out. Okay. Again, we can ink the edges of this paper if we want. Let me just... It's really not showing up a great deal. It's very, very light. This is something you would do before you add your tape. The tape is sticking to my fingers. Oh, Bonnie. Sometimes I say to myself, and we just want to make sure that this is centered kind of top and bottom. So let's see. You're going to put this up about 1.25 inches from the bottom of your camera. Okay. My piece is long. So I'm just going to come in here and trim it. Okay, just like that. I think once we get through this cover, you're gonna see it's gonna go fast, it's gonna be easy. And now we're gonna cut this out. If you don't want to use your scissors, you could use a craft knife. Craft knife might be easier, honestly. Because you can come in here right along the edge of that chipboard. Be able to get it nice and excuse me. You'll be able to get it nice and tight up against the chipboard. Probably work a little easier than your scissors. Make sure you're using a self-healing mat. I don't know if this one is or not, but it's a little late now. All right. There we go. And then just make sure your little edges are glued down good because you don't want them to come up. All right, friends? There. Right? You don't want them to come up. Okay. Super cute. All right. Next. It says, once my paper is adhered, I'd like to run along all of the edges to sand the paper down to be flush with the chipboard. So they did go around and use sandpaper or some sort of distress tool to sand all the edges of their paper down so it's smooth against the chipboard. All right. I didn't go around. I went around the inside to show you how to do that. My edges are pretty good around the edge. I'm not going to worry about it, but you certainly could do that. And it would give you that distressed look. It looks super cute when you distress the edges. All right. So distress, don't distress, it's your call. All right. It depends on how flush and even your paper is, whether you want to do that or not. Okay. All right. Find the Explore title, the mustard map tab, and the mint heart icon in the journal bits pack. Also find the pre-cut travel bucket list piece from the 6x8 journal. So we want our little journal piece that we cut, the travel bucket list. We want that. That's going to go on the cover. All right. So we want to find the Explore. Let's see if it tells me where. In the journal bits pack. All right. Sometimes I prefer to build my pages and then go back and decorate. Let's see. Hold on. I have If you have a little bucket or a paper plate or something that you can put your bits and pieces in, I think you'll find that to be very helpful. So you want Explore. All right, let's see. What else is in there? This little blue heart here should be in here. Just allows you to look for your pieces a little easier. Quite frankly, this is what takes the longest amount of time. Super cute pieces in here though. Let's see. I'm looking for my little heart. It's in here. It is super warm in this craft room tonight. All right, little heart, I know you're in here somewhere. It shows you on the package. But I don't see it. It's right there. It is right there. Whew. Maybe yours won't be in there either. This, oh, there's one. There's a tan one. We want a blue one. Here it is. Found it. Ay, ay, ay. All right, there we go. So we want that. We want the little gold geotag. Oh man. Here it is. There we go. And we need the cloud. Let's see, where's the cloud? I think the cloud is on here. All right. So this little bucket list is going right here on your cover, right to the right of your lens. All right. Explore, I think we'll pop that up. This we're going to write on, so I'm not going to pop that up. We need our with the cloud and mini brad from the decorative brads and flowers from the foam stickers. Okay. So we're going to need this. This is coming over here. This is coming over here, this cloud. This little guy, I think we'll foam tape him. And then we need some foam flowers. Okay, let's put this on with some foam tape. Just remember, this is going to be on your cover, right? So you're going to want to make sure it's pretty secure on your cover, right? So that's why it may seem like I'm using an excessive amount of foam tape. However, your cover is going to get a lot of attention, right? So you just want to make sure that it's on there good. Okay, so we're going to pop that on there. Now again, inking the edges of your paper is totally up to you. If you just sand the edges, you're gonna get that white core showing around the edge. And I may go back and do that, I'm not sure. All right, so this is coming right up here. like so. All right, I'm gonna pop this up also. It's a cute little heart. It's very sweet. All right, then over here, we have some foam stickers. I think it said foam stickers. Flowers from the foam stickers. All right, let's see what we've got. So it looks like we have a cute little, it's going to be this one right here. So it's going to be this little one right here. That's going to go right here. All right. Then we have a little pink one. That is pink, or is it orange? Here's a little pink one. Let's see, it's got a white center, it looks like. Right here, here's a little pink one right here next to Happy Days. That one's gonna go right there. Then from your brads, you have a little pink brad that's gonna go right in here. Okay, so that's kind of that side. Now we want to put this guy our little geotag on the front. Whoops. Super cute. So this guy's going to come in here like so. And then we have another little flower. Looks like it's a little blue one with a brown dot right up here by this butterfly. And that's going to go right here. All right. There. And that is that side of your cover. Now, again, if you go through and go around the edges, you're going to reveal that white core on this paper. That's going to look super cute. I may go back and do that. I'm not going to take the time to do it right now on the video because I don't want to spend the time with you guys on here. But it'll reveal that white core on both of these papers. So it'll look very different, okay? So I've inked the edges with that cappuccino, gave it a more vintage, old kind of look around the edge. All right. So either way. All right. We're going to flip the page. Next. So now, this is our cover. So now we're going to flip this like this. All right. So we have this. And we're going to grab one of our pages. Like this. All right. All right. With the mustard paper in place, we can now add our photo to show through the lens to the front cover. Make sure the photo is not wider than the 3.5 inches. We're going to cover up the back. All right, so I'm gonna grab, I have some photo placeholders. I'm gonna grab those. That's a 3x4. I'm looking for a 3x3, hold on. I'm knocking stuff everywhere. Having a situation here, friends. It's going to be that kind of night. Let me see, how are we doing on time? We're already at an hour and a half. So I'm probably going to pause the video so that you guys can. All right, so this next piece on our inside cover, we're going to grab that other floral piece. This floral piece is going to go here. So you don't want your photo to be wider than this strip of paper. So I just chose a 3x3 photo mat. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to gently tack this right here. Just going to show you how I'm going to do it. This I know is going to be a little bit long. It's going to be about 1/8 of an inch too long. So I'm going to trim this off. Because I do know that it's too long. We had to cut the other piece, remember? So I'm just trimming off 1/8 of an inch there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go like this. And I know that this piece of paper is going to go just like this. It's going to get centered right here on my album. Like this. All right. And I'm just going to rub this like this. I haven't put any glue on this. And I just kind of put a photo mat here where I know that I'm going to have a photo. And now when I go to add adhesive, okay, I'm going to add adhesive up here on the top, down here on the bottom, and I'm going to go on one side of this. Well, I'm going to avoid that photo altogether. I'm going to avoid that photo mat altogether. All right, so I've put some adhesive here and here, here and here. Now I'm going to come back in here and I'm going to add this to my inside cover, like so. I'm going to use those dots to make sure it's straight. And now, because I've left this open here, I can slide my photo that's going to go on my cover. Let's see if I have a small photo here somewhere. Let's see. This is an extra. It's too big though. But it'll slide in here. It's going to slide in here. And then it'll show out here. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. I'm looking for a photo that's like 3x3. If I have one. I don't think I have one laying around. Usually I do. All right. All right. So now back to this. All right. So now we've got this on here. This up here is a 3x4 photo. So I'm just going to grab, again, I have a bunch of 3x4 photo placeholders. So I'm just going to add. And I like a little bit of a white border around my photos anyways. Like that. That's just me. That is what I like. Again, you do not have to do that. All right. All right. All right. Add the flower strip that is 3 by 7, trim up or sand any excess that is hanging. On top, add a 3 by 4 photo, find the arrow, banner, text pieces, and journaling spot in the journaling bits. All right, so now we want in here, we want this right here, this little journaling bit, because that's going to come down here. We want this arrow up here. So I'm looking for that in here. We want the text pieces also that say discover and escape. Discover and escape. And we're still looking for that arrow. Whoop, this might be it right here. Yep. And you want that blush and pumpkin colored arrow. Okay. Again, I'm just going to use tape runner for this because I'm going to be writing on this. I'm going to be journaling. So I want a nice flat surface. And then over here, now your foam tape, a lot of this stuff you can use foam tape, but just remember that it's going to add a lot of volume to your album. So I'm going to put tape runner just over here on the right edge because I can add this to my book, and I'll still be able to slide my photo underneath there. Now, if you wanted to use a thinner foam tape, that would be awesome. You could do that. All right. And then up here, I'm just going to add tape now to the left side of this arrow. All right. And there is your inside cover. Now, we want the luggage tag from the journal bits. Here we go. We want the luggage tag. And we want on the ring, so we're going to poke a hole in here. And we're going to add a brad. We're going to grab one of the brads. We're going to grab this one that says open road. Open road. Goodness. That's going to go right up here on your luggage tag, like this. I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to poke a hole. Right here on my luggage tag, because that's going to go on my ring. All right. Then over here, it says on the grid page, add the border from the cardstock stickers trimmed to 5 inches. So we want the cardstock stickers and we want a border. So we want this border right here. Trying to figure this out. We want to put this border down here on our page. Okay, and it overhangs the edge. So they have it, they have it overhanging the edge. So I'm gonna put it up about 1/4 inch. Maybe 3/8. I'm gonna go up about 3/8 of an inch. Okay. Like that. I'm gonna flip it over. And I'm going to trim that. I'm gonna put this back on my sticker sheet. All right. Then I'm just gonna dip this in or rub, because remember the back of this sticker is sticky. You don't want it to stick to something else. Okay. Brush off that excess. All right. All right. So above the border, add a 3x4 photo to the center and adhere. So now this is where you can, I'm just going to set this here for a minute, because your photo on this white paper is going to stand out just fine. All right. So, and it can be a true 3x4, or if you want, you've got some scrap paper over there, you could create a photo mat if you were so inclined. All right. So I'm just going to set that there. We want in the upper right area, add the notes label from the journal pack. So we want the notes label. Sometimes I think it's easier if you take the time. Here we go. Note. All right. Add the notes label on top. Add the travel foam sticker title and the decorative brad to accent. Okay. So let's see. We may want our photo to go in this orientation, so I think that's what we want. So I'm going to add my photo going in this direction, like so. And I'm going to add my notes up here in the right corner, like this. Then from my foam sticker, I'm gonna grab travel. And then this is gonna go on here, just like this. All right. And then we have another little pink brad right here. And this is going to go right over here. You can put it over here if you want. This is going to go like this. I don't know. I think this might look cute up here. I'm going to put mine up here. Okay. They put it down here. I'm going to put mine up here. All right. So now I have this and this. Now I'm going to flip this. All right. I'm going to put a pile. I'm going to start a pile for my pages. All right, I'm going to grab my next page. All right, I'm going to grab my next page. Flipping this. Add the 3x4 design pre-cut from the 6x8 paper pack centered with foam adhesive. So now we want the on the road, or the open road, sorry, the open road. And this is going to go here like this with foam adhesive. All right. Now, I'm going to also give you another suggestion. If you need more photo space, this would be a good place to use a photo flip, because then you can attach your photo flip, put this in your pocket. You can lift this up. You can add a 3x4 photo here and a 3x4 photo here. Okay, so again, you can, I'm going to find some photo flips. Let me see if I have any. Where are mine? I think mine are, hold on. Where are mine? Let me see, my friends, if I have any handy. Do you all know what a photo flip is? Or as we used to call them with Close to My Heart, we used to call them flip flaps. Hold on, I'm gonna grab one. Hold on. Okay, Sheldon, I'm right here, buddy. Right here. All right. So these are photo flips. This is a variety pack. They come in, they come in 3x4, 4x4, 4x6, or they come in this variety pack. Here is a 3x4 right here. They have adhesive here on the back, all right? And you can take, so we can add a 3x4 photo here, right? We can tuck this in our pocket like so. All right. This, we can add a little strip of paper here. So say, I don't know, like so, right? Because this will slide right up in here. Let me cut this to 3 inches. Hold on. I want to show you. Just to cover our adhesive. Hold on. Our card is 3x4, right? So our little card is 3x4. This would tuck right up in here, right, to cover that adhesive. And then you just mount this to here. And then you have another photo. So here you have a photo. Here you have a photo. Here you have your photo flip that you've peeled the adhesive, and that will go just like that. Now this is attached. You lift this up and you reveal 2 more photos. Okay? So if you're building an album and you want more space, this is a great spot for a photo flip. Now, we also need this little tab here. Hold on. Out of our journal pieces. I think it's tan. Hold on. Nope. It says number 1. Hold on. It has a number 1. Here it is. It's this green one. It has a number 1 right here. And this, you could put this right here on your flap. All right. And I think that that is a super cute way to add so you have more photos. Again, it comes in a variety pack. It comes in 3x4s. They're all different sizes, okay? It's just another way, because if we do this like is in the instructions, it just says to adhere this with foam tape. They use this whole page as a decorative page, okay? No photos. It's just this mounted on the paper with foam, and now you have this, okay? But you're building a mini album, you're traveling, you may want to add additional photos. So this was a scrap piece of paper that we had left over. You could use any of these colors, any little scrap of paper to tuck in there, all right? And then add a photo to the back. Whoops. So now you have a 3x4 photo here. All right. I'm going to slide this in my pocket. All right. I'm going to slide that in my pocket. I'm going to mount this photo placeholder on my page. So now I've told you how they've done it in the directions, right? And now I'm showing you another trick to give you more photos in your album. All right. So now this is adhesive backed. So I'm just going to line this up right here. All right. Covering the photo that's underneath. I'm going to glue that down. This, I just put a little strip of paper. There's a little pocket right there to add a little photo strip. I'm going to add adhesive right here. And I'm going to put this right here on top of my flip. And now when I lift this up, okay, now when I lift this up, I have 1 photo, 2 photos on a page that was not intended to have any pictures at all. All right. So there's another little tip for you. Okay. This also has a little brad that says go. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put this right here. All right. So now this page is done. So now the page over here on this side, this has a 4x6 photo. So now this one has a 4x6. All right, this one has a full photo. This is one of your blush. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. This page is one of your blush. Stand by. Read, Bonnie. This page is one of your blush Color Vibe pre-cut pieces, dot side up, add the hole punches for the binder rings, then to the right, add a 4x6 photo. So this one is our 5 by 6.5, because I bet you that's how big these pages are. Look at that. All right, so I'm gonna line this up and I'm gonna poke some holes. See, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. There we go. I have glue on the inside of this, so it doesn't always bun up. Okay. Set my page aside. All right, this said dots up. So we have a 4x6 photo. So here's my 4x6 placeholder. And I'm just going to try and center it on 3 sides. Okay. All right. On top, add the scalloped border and yellow heart label. Okay. So now we want I think it's in here from the journal bits. I think there's a little scalloped border. Yep, that's not it. Maybe. Wrong color. Should be a little blue border. Oy, oy, oy. Is this it? Green. Little green border. And we want the yellow heart. This, friends, is what takes the most amount of time. There we go. All right. Now, so that I can get my photo in, I'm going to add adhesive just on the ends of this scalloped border. I'm going to put that. Oh, it does not fit across there. Hold on. So I want to center that. Okay. And then I am going to add this right here. All right. And I'm just going to put a little bit of tape right on that border strip where I'm going to add my heart. All right. And then in the lower right corner, add the card design from the cardstock stickers using foam adhesive. So then they used this little yellow car. All right. We're going to take some foam tape and put it on our car. Like so. I'm going to come in here and de-sticky the rest of that sticker. So we don't need that sticking. Okay. Then I'm just going to peel a tiny little bit of this back. Just enough to tack this in place until I have my photo. All right. This is not on there good. It's just enough to hold it in place till I can slide my photo in there. Then I can pull the rest of that paper and we're good to go. So now I'm going to add this to my pile like so. All right. All right. On to the next page. Let's see. How are we doing on time? This is going to take a while. I'm kind of contemplating, do I want to stop the video? But I kind of don't. Kind of do, but kind of don't. All right, I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to grab my next page because I want to try and find the pieces. I'm going to try and find the pieces for 2 at a time. So this is going to be another 4x6 photo here. All right. There's another 4x6. Then we want cluster the cactus from the foam stickers, the heart label from the journal bits. So let's grab that little pink heart label. Again, this is probably a better, I don't think it's this one. This is probably better if you already have your photos, but I'm showing you ways that you can build the book and go back and add your photos. You don't even have to pull all these stickers out right now. All right. You could do all of that later. On the other side over here, we want travel. And we want the label or the tag that says 2 right here. We want this one. All right. And we got some brads and we have the cactus. And then at the bottom, and go from the cardstock stickers, scalloped pink border, the scalloped pink border. I think that must be in here. This is not really pink. Let's see. See if there's a pink one. I think it's a shorter piece. We're going to use that. Okay. All right. So now we're going to add our 4x6 here. Again, I'm going to try and center it on 3 sides. All right. I'm just going to put a dab of adhesive over on this left side to hold this in place. All right. I'm going to grab the cactus. And again, you may not even want the cactus. You might want something else. Now, again, I do not have a photo here. I do not. So I'm going to leave this edge sticky and I'm going to de-stick the rest of this cactus. All right. I'm only going to leave this right edge sticky because I just want to hold this in place until I add my photo. So the only spot that's sticky is right over here on this edge. See that? After I add my photo, I'll add a touch of glue here. Okay. And then I need this little guy right here. And I'm going to take 1/2 of this foam dot and I'm going to put it over here on this left edge because this is going to go right in here. All right. This will lay on top of my pink border. All right, like so. And then I need go from here. And this is gonna stick, hold on. To my finger, that's the center of the go. Okay, I'm going to dip this in my baking soda, that whole top half, because I want to keep it sticky just enough so that I can stick this. Actually, hold on a second. Peel this up a little. Because I want this right here on top of my scallop. And then this goes just like this. All right, so that's how that's gonna look. All right, so there's that page. Then we're gonna come over here in the upper right area, add the number 2 label and the travel banner using foam adhesive. Again, I'm probably gonna be writing on this, so I'm not going to use foam tape for this because it'll make it a little bit challenging. All right, this we can add some foam tape to. The little dovetailed pieces hang off ever so slightly, like that. Then we're going to grab our brads. We want this little diagonal stripe here. That's going to come in here. And then we want this, I think it's this little light blue one. And that's going to come right here, like so. Okay. And then you want a 3x4 photo mat. Now, again, if you want to add more photos, you could use another photo flip here. You could put it like this. You could grab 2 photo mats, depending on how your photos are. You could layer up a couple here, but it does call for a 3x4 photo on this page. Okay. Could also do a 3x4 this way and add some 2x2s down here at the bottom. Lots of ways to get additional photos in your book. Okay, I'm gonna move this to my pile. All right, flip this over onto the next page. All right, add the open title and small flower from the foam stickers to the upper left area. Beneath the header, find the 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 pre-cut flower paper and add a 3x4 photo to the center. So find your little 3x4 photo mat. All right, I'm gonna grab my next page because I want you to build this together so you can line it up so that it looks nice. All right, so we're gonna add a 3x4 photo to our photo mat. That looks so cute. Love that little pop of color there. All right, in the lower right corner, find the buildable floral pocket and the guest ticket design in the journal pack. So we want the little designer pocket. I saw that in here. It's a little floral one. You're gonna fold the edges like this. This is so cute. Okay. I like to fold my pockets when I'm making pockets like this. I like to put this bottom on the outside because then when I go to slide things in, it doesn't get caught in the corners. All right, so that's just me. Okay, so I'm just gonna set this here because I want you to see how it's gonna look. So this is gonna go down here, and then we're gonna have some tags in here. This guest ticket right here, this little journaling spot in here, that's gonna go in here. And then I think one of the tags is gonna go in here as well. We're gonna grab that in a minute. All right. And then we're gonna put open road on here. Now you'll see that they have open over here, road over here, and they have a flower here and here. All right. I'm going to show you another way. My AC has not kicked on, not one time since I've been out here. It's a little warm. Okay, so this photo mat is here. This little guy is here in the corner. They have it, so open is over here, road is over here. I think I'm more inclined to move it this way and this way. All right, I'm a little bit more inclined to move it like that, and I'm gonna move this so that this is even with this instead of being down in the bottom corner. Okay, gonna have this so it's a little bit more symmetrical. And then they used Let's see what little flowers. Let's see. I think maybe this one right here. The nice thing about this, you can cut these pieces away so that you can play with the pieces and see where you like them, okay? And then there's a pink one. Might be this one right here. You can just cut them off the sheet and move them around, right? So I'm thinking I might move mine so that it's more like this, a little bit more symmetrical. All right. Okay. But again, you can move yours around. You can build it any way you want. And I'm going to take some glue. You could use score tape for this if you want. Okay. And I'm going to try and even this up. So that it's even with my photo mat. Okay. All right. This little tag comes in here. You could put a couple of 2x3 photos in here if you're so inclined. All right. You just don't want it so that it's too close to your rings. All right. You don't want it too close to the rings so that it interferes with the opening and closing of your album. Okay. And then over here we have our little tag that we cut. One of our tags. We want this one here with the maps. Turn that up. Okay, we're going to poke a hole. And we're going to grab some twine. They have a little orange twine. I actually might have some cute little orange twine like that. but you can use anything that you have that matches the collection, okay? I actually have that. That's going to be really cute. You could use a green, right? You could use green. You could use a darker, more orangey color. Let's see. You could use this color. You could use any color you wanted. That's just grab something that matches the collection. This is stuff I had in my stash. I've probably had it forever because honestly, until I started doing this, you know, I'd make some bows and they'd go on cards and stuff, but I mean, honestly, not a lot of use for twine. Okay, I'm just going to stick that in there. It's kind of cute. You might want to use a darker twine because it'll show up a lot better than that. This would show up a lot better. Okay. You might want to use something a little darker. That's cute. That's nice and bold. Okay. All right. And again, you could take and make a couple of 2x3 photos. Tuck those in there. All right, lots of room. All right, what I'm gonna do is we are now going to page 8. I'm going to pause the video, all right, and I'm gonna put up a part 2 because the video is gonna get super long. And then for those of you guys that have to pause and start and pause and stop, it'll just be easier to find where you left off because we're already over 2 hours on this one because of that silly cover. Okay, so I'm gonna pause and then I'm gonna restart the video with page 8 and we'll go page 8 to the end. Okay, all right, friends.